Ah, look at them. Plus, who benefits from them? Meet these amazing animals after the break.
You're watching Fox 26 News, your station for life.
A handful of service dogs living their best life, and social media is here for it. Have you seen this photo tweeted by a Canadian theater? Well, it has gone viral. You can see why. They look like statues sitting there, but no, those are living, breathing dogs, pups in a service dog training program that were watching Billy Elliot the musical. It's adorable, of course, but it also is part of their training because they are trying to get used to the lights, sounds, movements, and crowds to help their handler in any kind of environment.
I love that photo. Now, guess what? We have a dog that looks a lot like some of those here. A couple of precious pooches here today. We invited Sheena Glazier and Cassandra Anderson from Puptown, Houston, to talk more about training for service dogs. I'm glad you're here and you brought in your friends. Introduce me to these guys.
This is Mako. He's being trained for PTSD and anxiety, and Maverick is being trained for anxiety and mobility assistance, which is why he's wearing this really fancy harness.
Now, is there a difference between therapy and service dogs, or
Yes.
is that the same thing?
No, actually, a lot of people get that mixed up, and what they don't understand is therapy dogs are being trained to help with anxiety or stress or just not feeling great for everyone else, versus service dogs are being trained specifically for their handler, which would be me in this situation, right? So in a therapy dog situation, it's okay if the dog goes up and greets people. We want them to, right? In this type of a situation, I want my dog to stay with me. If you try to pet him, I want him to say, maybe not so much. I like my mom better.
As he grabs your hand. Now, what type of dogs are we talking about? What types of dogs are trainable to really make a difference in somebody's life?
We could really train all types of dogs for service
Really?
dogs. There's no certain breed or anything else. You know, we have a golden retriever, we have Mako, we had a labradoodle that we recently trained. So there's really no type of breed that is specifically for service dogs.
You do tend to see some breeds more than others, though, like the retriever, the lab, the Belgian Malinois. So you've taught them some pretty cool commands and skills. Okay, so you're going to show off some of the skills today.
We sure are.
Okay, what do you want us to do first?
So one of the first things that we start working on with dogs that are helping with mobility, especially, right? So these are people that may not be able to bend over and pick items up. They might have difficulty flipping on and off light switches, you know, things like that. So both of these guys are being trained to pick up objects.
Okay.
You have deodorant in your hand.
Yeah, I just happened to drop my deodorant.
Yeah, so go ahead and just drop it. Make go upwards.
There you go.
What a good boy.
We also work with them
Wow.
on teaching them to
That's
give
impressive.
it directly into our hand, right? So if I am somebody who has weak fingers, and I accidentally drop it again, right? He's just gonna keep bringing it back to me until I have a secure hold on it. Thank you.
What an
good
amazing
boy.
treat. Now, let's talk about what happens if, let's say that you're having anxiety or depression. How does a dog help with those problems?
Well, there is actually a scientific method that is behind that, right? So it's called deep tissue therapy. And when dogs perform deep tissue therapy, it actually releases all of those fun serotonin and endorphins in our brains that make us feel better, right? And what deep tissue therapy can look like, sometimes people imagine like, oh, I'm gonna lay down on my bed and my dog's just gonna like.
That's what I was picturing that.
Pretty good.
I have to be honest, that's what I was visualizing.
Mom, would you like a deep tissue massage?
Yes, I would.
But actually, a lot of what it looks like is Miko. Oh, thank you, right? It's just generally our dogs just touching us and putting pressure on our bodies. And when that happens, thank you.
Oh, he wants
right?
to really make sure you
Oh,
have it.
yeah, right? And what he's doing with his feet, thank you. Oh, there you go. He wants this. There you go. Oh, good boy. There we go. It's making sure that he's putting pressure on my body, which physical touch actually is what our human bodies respond to, right? We talk about it with newborns, you know, skin to skin contact. It's the same thing when we talk about the, you know, benefits of hugging a person, right? This is my hug on the go, basically.
Oh my
instead of having to.
I am in love with Mako. Just wants to keep working.
Yeah, I want my dog to learn
I
these
have
tricks.
to ask you, how long does the training go for, and how much does it cost? Is this something where anybody can say, hey, I want my dog to start learning this? Is it best to start as a puppy?
You know, honestly, the best age to start out at is, yes, definitely having a puppy that's well exposed, well socialized is very important. But I tell people to make sure you have the most success. Choosing a dog that's slightly older is going to help drastically because you're past all the bumps and, you know, hiccups of puberty and adolescence that young dogs are going through. I see a lot of puppies that start out as service dogs but unfortunately are not able to complete their training due to fears or behavioral issues they later on develop as young adults. So I tell people who are really serious about it, start out with either a very reputable breeder or just a dog that's been temperament tested very thoroughly, or B, find us a dog that's older that you know is going to be the right fit for the situation that you're looking for. Training can take anywhere between 3 months to 2 years, depending on the complexity of the training of the dog. Maverick has been in training his whole life. He started out with a trainer out in Alabama when he was 8 weeks old.
Well, he has a good life's mission, doesn't he? They all do. Well, we're glad you brought him in, and we just can't wait to see what all they're able to do and help make a difference in lives.
Yeah, they are such angels. Thank you.
All right, there's all the information you need right there, puptownhouston.com.